Today's guest is Talia, founder of Eduloco and someone who learned firsthand that even the best ideas burn cash fast when there's no commercial engine behind them. In the early days, Talia poured everything into the product, the idea, the features, the vision, but with no real understanding of distribution, no sales process, and no commercialization strategy. The result, money burned fast, momentum stalled, and reality hit hard. The transformation came when she stopped trying to know it all, brought in mentors, and made sales the center of the business. Let's dive into Talia's founder fuck up. Welcome to the show.
Hi Ben, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to start whatever questions you have for me.
So excited to share this difficult period. So,
I mean,
what was the original vision for Eduloco, and what made you kind of confident in the product early on?
the original vision was just mainly just send students to study abroad. That was the vision, right? I mean, what really motivated us with that vision is the business model. In the beginning, it was a commission based business model. Before we became a product, we were just a service based company. So we had our own office where students can walk in locally in Malaysia and apply to universities abroad. And then there was so we had a lot of university partners that were giving us contracts like 25% commission for your annual tuition fee, so which was really good. But then obviously, in order for us to make sales, we have to hire agents, right? To find the leads and to convert the leads. And it's not a straightforward process. There's a life cycle where you have to nurture them. You have to put them in this whole funnel and convert them manually back then. And then what led us to build a product was basically my angel investor. We went together to TechCrunch in San Francisco. This was like back in 2022. And then he basically like taught me, okay, if you want to build a product that is scalable, if you want to have a business that's scalable, you have to build a product. And at that point, we were already like 20 people on the team. Wow. So he really invested a lot of money in it. I think it was around like 700K ringgit already. And him saying that, obviously, I think I was like 23 years old. Him saying that, like, fuck, I have to fire. Oh, sorry, I cursed. I have to.
It's so profound the fuck up.
Yeah, I know. So I had to basically retrench everyone through MS Teams. Wow. And I was doing it, there, right, in San Francisco. So I was like, oh, guys, I have to do this. We're running out of money. We need to build a product. I can't hire and pay salary without, conversions to pay it off. So yeah, we built the product. I mean, before that, he was like, but I have no more money to invest. Wow. So I was like, how can I build a product? And he's like, apply through accelerators and join a program and then raise funds through that. Exactly. So I applied to a bunch of them, like probably like 100 accelerators. And even after I applied, I got a lot of rejections. No, you can't, whatever, this and that. Your business model sucks. You don't have a product. Because I don't even have an MVP, right? So it was just a pitch deck. It was just an idea, and then I didn't really have a good co-founder. I was just young. I had no experience. I didn't have like ex PayPal, whatever. I wasn't like that, right? I was just almost like a fresh grad. And so one time I was like, hey, I want to go to Singapore and like talk to the VCs there. And so what I did was I emailed a few of them to sit down for a coffee with me just to like pitch a little bit. And one of them was Antler. So I didn't even apply through Antler online. I was just like, hey, can I sit for a coffee in your office? And then after that, the guy was like, oh, I can fast track your application online through Antler. And then I was like, okay, let's do it. And then, I got into the program, did the whole boot camp, whatever, for 3 months in Singapore. My co-founder and I lived in a hotel together. And built the MVP there slowly when we got the funds. And then that's when we started, obviously, started making sure we have traction, because that's when we needed to show to the investors for us to fundraise through our seed round, right? So yeah, at first I was very in love with the idea, the product, just always trying to fix the product. Obviously we were a web app before, and then driving traffic to the website or the app downloads and stuff. And then obviously that's not enough, right? We needed revenue. We generated revenue, but I guess the part where I really fucked up was the business model, because it only worked if you're a service company, but we never changed the business model when we became a product.
So do you think this was kind of time out, guys? Lots of you are watching, lots of you are learning from the founder fuck-ups that we've all gone through. But please do me one little teeny favor and subscribe, so that we can keep growing the channel and get more great founders on. Back to the episode. One of your first mistakes, because you've essentially gone for this huge pivot, which, let's say, was an emotional, jarring position to be in, because you've just let go of 20 people. You're 23, 24 years old. Like you said, you're kind of a fresh grad. Now you're trying to pitch investors. Everyone's saying no. You finally got Antler to say yes. Did you take their money? Were you invested?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got their terms. Then you paid for the boot camp. And now you're at the stage where you're generating revenue on your former business model and burning cash because you're obviously not growing. How come you carried on focusing only on the product back then, when you didn't have a business model and you didn't have enough customers, but you were so focused on the product?
We had the business model, which was still the same as the old business.
Okay.
We just basically so we didn't charge the students at all.
Okay.
They could apply through our platform. The people who were the businesses that were charging are the universities.
Yeah, the commission structure, right?
Yeah. So the investors didn't like that. That was the main reason why they didn't want to fund us for the next round, and so that's what really didn't work for us, is me not making it more sustainable and make it a subscription model.
A lot of investors prefer it, but you were more of that. You were a marketplace, really, weren't you?
Yeah, so we were an aggregator. We aggregated all these universities for people to scroll through, send an application.
.com for universities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah, and that was my fuck up, because I wasn't really a commercial person back then. I was more on, like product, tech, and
When did you realize that, we were in a bit of a hole here, that we were running out of cash, that we weren't getting the revenue goals, we weren't getting the investment, the round goals? When did you start to notice that?
I think it was after a year when I basically pitched to entire Southeast Asian VCs. All of them already said no. I've pitched twice already to the same list and still no. And I would send like a quarterly update to my list of investors that don't even want to invest in me. I would just say like, hey guys, this is the new update, what we have. But still, so that's when I realized. And then obviously my co-founder also, she left me earlier, 6 months before I completely also left.
Okay.
And then I was like, shit, like there's not enough money. I have to pay my developers. So then I didn't pay my salary for 6 months as well. So and then it was just that I had to finally accept. And I also spoke with one of the VCs, and he gave me a really good advice. He said that I should find a really good operator to work for before I can start my own startup. And back then I didn't really work for a good operator. I came from, fresh from uni. I had a few jobs. And then it wasn't really a startup. So yeah, that's the advice he gave me. And that's what I said, like, okay, yeah. I mean, there's that time where I have to accept no.
Yeah. And so now this time, this fuck up has actually become a total catastrophe in the sense that unfortunately the business hasn't worked out.
Mm-hmm.
During that period, what was the fallout? Like financially, you weren't earning, so were you taking on debts? Were some of that cash burn kind of catching up with you personally? How was that impact on you?
Um,
Just financially, but emotionally as well.
yeah, it wasn't. No, we have no debts. I guess it was really all burnt out,
Mm,
where I wasn't getting milestones anymore, because
okay.
that's how the way I track whether I'm going in the right path, right? Like this many milestones, and I wasn't hitting anything anymore at one point,
Sure.
and it was just depressing. I was burnt out,
Yeah.
and I wasn't waking up energetic anymore. I was waking up like 1 p.m. I'm dragging myself to work, and I got super distracted. With all of these also like networking events, like founders, I mean, I know that there's a lot of noise there, but
Money.
honestly, if you're if you're a first time founder, you should just stay at home and build and sell
Yeah.
and focus on revenue, like because that's when people, or that's when VCs or whatever, that's where everything follows, right? You
Yeah.
don't even have to like pitch your network. People will just know you have revenue, and they would want to like
Mm.
invest in your startup. And that's what kind of I got distracted. And yeah, it was really just the emotional impact of being a founder in general and not seeing results. We were generating revenue in a way that I could still cover monthly salary, but um, it just wasn't enough to continue, because it wasn't it just wasn't motivating, because getting this we're not hitting the targets.
I like that you got that advice towards at the end of go work for a good operator. I agree and disagree. I think it's very good to work for someone who can inspire you, and you need to learn. I mean, in our early 20s, we should be learning, learning, learning. Of course, you can still build. There are many 18, 19, 20 year olds who can do it, but I think there's this, timing, rarity, a bit of
Yeah,
luck involved, individualism. Um,
yeah.
but you mentioned not having those kind of mentors before, like when you first started, and you're just trying to know it all because you have no experience. You're just trying to like figure everything out.
Yeah.
Um, w- since hearing that advice, what's changed for you? Maybe perhaps your mindset, or how do you seek more external guidance now as an individual,
Um,
as a founder or a potential founder?
I mean, right now I am not prepared to be a founder again yet, I guess. Um, it's not that I seek a lot of external guidance at the moment, but I found a really good spot right now where I'm learning a lot, and it's not necessarily a new mentor or whatever, but it's it's just knowing what kind of decisions to do. And at the end of the day, it's business. It's really just sales. And that's the most important thing, is sales. So that's where what I'm really learning right now, and that's the best, I think, advice to learn, or lesson to learn, is how to sell whatever product it is, even if it's in education, healthcare, tech. Yeah, it's just different ways to sell it. And where I am right now in healthcare, it's the most difficult industry to advertise and sell. So yeah.
Well, without distribution, you can have the greatest product in the world, but if no one ever uses it or sees it,
Yeah,
it's kind
exactly.
yeah. And rebuilding yourself, was it difficult when you first started taking those steps to step away to kind of close the
It
business?
was very difficult. Um, Initially, before I quit, like the last weeks before I quit, um, I was having this thought where, like, shit, like, what are people gonna think about me? I'm a failure, like, at one point I'm like, this founder, I fundraise, like, women in tech, whatever, and then suddenly, like, I'm leaving it and I'm not a founder anymore, because I think it's people are hyping it up so much to be a founder. It's like almost like you're a celebrity. That's how they make it feel like. um
Not in my
if you have
circle.
like if you have this like title or whatever, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a title. If you're not generating, if you're not profitable, um, so yeah, at first I was very sad. I was like, shit, like I'm a failure. But then it's really just like how to bounce off from that, and I'm completely fine now. I don't regret it. I'm very happy with my decision. So yeah, but yeah, obviously I was quite sad.
Yeah. And how about rebuilding your life outside? Once the decision had made, we've stepped away. Was it difficult finding a job? I find that when you're a founder or you've ran a business for several years, it's hard to get a job because you can't really be put in a box very easily. So like in applications, unless you obviously go down to a more junior kind of starting point,
Yeah.
it can be quite difficult. How was that rebuild for you? Because obviously now you've got a role that you, like you say, you're growing. You're in healthcare. But before that,
Um, I always have a different way to apply for jobs. It's not really like filling up application forms. I always leverage what I've learned and what skills I gained in the past. So, for example, I will. So before I started startup, like the being in the startup world, I was in hospitality, and the way I would get jobs in hotels, because I studied hospitality, is I would email the GMs and I would tell them like, hey, I speak 3 languages. This is my education. These are whatever. I just finished my work from this hotel. Do you have a job for me? Directly to the GM. And
Yeah.
most of the time, one will reply and even will create a role for me.
wow, nice.
So I always use the same methods. And what I did after Eduloco was I went to Google and I put just growth stage startups in Southeast Asia. And I just emailed all the founders there and I said like, hello, my name is Talia. These are what I've done. Let me know if anything fits me, and so far it's still working out. But yeah, for me, no, I've never had a hard time because I think if people know what you've been through, you just like put some bullet points there and they understand your path, and those are the people that you should go after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we circle back now, if you were starting all over again, you had just finished Antler, what do you think you would do differently?
Very good question. I've not thought about that. Definitely, I would focus more on converting customers rather than making a beautiful UI UX product. I mean, UI UX is also very important to convert a customer, but I think it's just my mistake was it's just really not focusing on sales. I was just so really obsessed with the idea, the product, and everything, and not actually converting those users properly.
Basically, you should have maybe perhaps 80% of your time was spent on converting and sales and marketing and
Yeah.
80% on the product and
Yeah.
investments and networking and
Exactly. That's what.
you were talking about.
Yeah, because I had a co-founder who was in charge of marketing and sales, and she wasn't
recall.
technical enough. She wasn't technical enough to handle the technical side, so I had to do it. And yeah, I was not hands-on in that part. So yeah.
Okay. So your distributed roles, you had the distributed roles between them.
Yeah.
What would be you've kind of alluded to it a couple of times in the session today, but what would be sort of core advice to a founder today who's perhaps a bit obsessed with their product? They're ignoring sales, distribution, commercialization. Other than just sell, like what would be your advice to someone like that? Because I think when you're that person, you're embedded into it. It's your baby, it's your child, it's the sunk cost fallacy. It's hard to separate and go into
Yeah.
the distribution, commercialization, and sale. What advice could you give to a founder today?
I think what matters the most are the metrics.
Hmm.
So you must have your North Star, obviously. Could be, for example, for my startup, it would be the number of applications or, whatever, or it could just be directly revenue. And if that is 0, that's reality check that, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that's the most straightforward advice is have the metrics, and if those metrics are green, then you're doing the right thing. But if it's red, then you're focusing on the right things.
Sorry. Thunder, doing a podcast. You shut the door, buddy. I'll come and I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. Shut the door.
It's okay.
I'm gonna leave that in.
Yeah, just leave that in.
So, Talia, what do you do now? What are you doing now? How should someone work with you? Why should someone connect with you? Where are we at?
Yeah, I'm under the Aura Group right now, so I'm working as the director of marketing. So Aura Group has 3 brands. We have Ensense, Ova, and Modern Molecules. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Ensense and Ova, but Ensense is our men's health brand and Ova is our women's health brand. I hope you've seen us online on one of our ads. You can
Genuinely.
you can connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm really currently right now interested in organic marketing. So what I'm busy on is SEO and AI optimization on those how to show up your blog posts on ChatGPT, Gemini. So what I'm doing right now is adding the structure of the blogs, the JSON behind it, the codes, and then making sure that they're readable by the LLMs. So that's what I'm currently working on, making sure that we are showing up there and not the competitors.
Cool. And working on men's health.
Yes, men's health.
Important to me.
Very important. Yeah. It's also International Men's Day soon.
Is it? It's also November, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing this lesson. And it's a difficult one. Will you be a founder again one day? I know not now, but one day. Are you going to return to the fold of insane people trying to build stuff?
I'm still young, right? I'm only 28, so maybe in 10 years. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. It depends. It depends.
We'll see.
We'll see. Depends on life.
Yeah, depends on life.
Well, thank you so much, Ben.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.